we're going to start with a very basic definition because I know some people in the audience are running their own agencies and some people in the audience are more new to this stuff. So the area on the top with the yellowed out background and the area on the right hand side is the pay-per-click area of SEO. And is everybody pretty familiar with that? So if you're a business, you click on one of those ads, the business would actually pay per click. So you might pay anywhere between $1 and $99.99 is where they max out. And then the area down below is the SEO, the free area, the left-hand side area, or the organic results. And this is where we're going to spend most of our focus today, because this is, like the holy grail of search engine marketing. Now, the top side works, and people often say it doesn't work, and there's some really cool things going on with the paid area, but that's like another session, and the guys are going to touch on it a little bit. But for the most part, we want this free area. Two reasons. Number one is 72% of people prefer to click on the free area. And number two, it's free. So obviously, when we can get the clicks from this area, it's almost like the consumer or your prospect trusts this more. It's like Google endorsed it, or they said that's where you want to be. So into the ABCs. The first one is architecture. And the actual structure or build of your website is the first thing that we have to be attuned to. Now this is a big mistake. I don't see it very often anymore. But you know those websites that spin and whir and flash, and the web developer wants to show us how cool he is, and you can build something technology and it looks slightly less sophisticated than Pac-Man? Well, those aren't great because Google really can't read Flash very well. They can't read the words embedded in a Flash website, and they don't work on iPhones, iPads, and devices. And I've seen as much as 40% of traffic now on some websites coming from Safari devices. And you guys are up in like 40–50% of people. It's the #1 source for traffic to Rocket Matter. You hear more about that in a minute. So the first thing is no Flash websites. If you have a Flash website, it's time to start building that WordPress website or a basic HTML website that Google and an iPhone can read. Okay. The next thing is we want nice, clean code. And the simplest way to do this is just if you click View Source, you can actually see the HTML source code on your page. But if you can't find things like the title of the website and the keywords and description of your website right there in the title, then it's going to be hard for Google to find those things. Like if Google can't read the words on your website, again, you're making it hard for Google to read what's on your website and show you in the search results. You want to have a nice title tag with keyword phrases. So like on 10 Golden Rules, we click View and Source, and we see that our title tag is Internet Marketing Consultant, Online Advertising, Web Marketing, and Consulting. Now the only place you see that is up here. It's almost grayed out now on most of your browsers. But Google's still looking for the title tag to say, what's this page all about? And then they're looking for the words on the page to correspond with the words in the title tag. You want to have blue activated links. They don't have to be blue. They can be green or purple or yellow. But those links are keyword rich. And so if those keywords are the type of word phrases that you want to be found for in the search engines, you want to have those on your pages on your site and linking to pages. Like in this case, this is for a DUI attorney. It should link to a page in the site called DUI Attorney. And now you're building a profile for Google. You're saying, hey, this page is, this website's titled the DUI Attorney website, and we've got a link called the DUI Attorney and a group of DUI lawyers, and then it links to an internal page, and the page is called DUI Lawyers. So you're just building a nice logical flow for Google to say, hey, if someone's looking for DUI attorneys, we've got that. It's so important that we link to a page called that right on our homepage, and our homepage is named that. So you're saying that these things are really important. You want to have a sitemap. A sitemap is just a clean list of links that links to all the pages on your website. And if that sitemap link is at the bottom of all your pages, Google can find that, and it can find the map to your site, and it can find all the pages on your site, and it can read all the pages on your site. So the simple things about the architecture: we want nice, clean code, no Flash websites, we want activated links, and those links include the keyword phrases you want to target. We want nice, simple meta tags each page should have a different title, and each page should focus on 2 or 3 keyword phrases and those words are word phrases you want to target, and nice simple sitemaps. So the A is architecture, the B is backlinks. And you've probably heard all about links and backlinks, and some people are still confused by this. These are not the links on your website to other people. These are links from other people to you. So for example, if for this event, when the Boca Chamber created a page to talk about this event, I said to Sarah, could you do me a favor? Put blue activated links to myself and Larry and Izzy. We'd really appreciate that. Because when an organization like the Boca Raton Chamber, that's an independent, valuable organization as perceived by Google, links to our website, that's like a vote for our website. The more votes you have, the more important your website is, and the more likelihood that you'll come up ahead of your competitors for the keyword phrases you want to target. So when we wrote, we were featured in the Wall Street Journal, and people linked to us and talked all about that article. Again, that's very valuable for our website. So you want to build lots of links. This is using a tool called SEO Quake, and it just sits there on my toolbar browser, and it tells me that this site has 57,000 other sites linking to this website. And keep making this point, because again, you want things like Boca Raton Chamber linking to you. It's not about you linking to the Boca Raton Chamber. And links from quality and relevant websites are more important than irrelevant websites. So you can't just go create a blog about knitting, and because you're into knitting, and link to your website and think you're helping yourself that much. It's better than doing nothing. But what you're looking for links. Like for me, I want links from the internet industry, and I want links from the Florida people based in Florida. So when people are searching for Florida internet company, we're endorsed by companies that are relevant. They're in the internet industry and important. So the Boca Raton Chamber is great. Anytime you can get a .edu link. Kim, are you still listening? We'd love a link from a .edu or a .gov, because Google knows those links are hard to get. Okay, and don't forget that links. Often people get so caught up in backlinks for the purpose of SEO. Links also build traffic. So when the Boca Raton Chamber listed the three of us, a few of you probably clicked on our links to say, who are these jokers anyways? Am I going to get out of bed a little early and come see this panel, right? So those links built traffic to our website. So where do you get links? Well, a great strategy is writing articles and working with your partners and business suppliers. So I wrote an article for our client. He's in the printing business, which is marketing, which is somewhat related. And I put my title, I never give my company name as 10 Golden Rules. It's always http://www.10goldenrules. We want links, right? The association, the Search Engine Marketing Association, I wrote an article for this industry magazine. And this is a really current and excellent strategy. It's called curated lists. We also call it link bait. So like you'd put a little bit of bait on your fish hook to catch fish, we'll put a little bait on our website to catch really good links. And so one of the little tactics we use is we created top 10 lists. So this is the top 10 list of industry trade shows in the internet marketing industry. And then we blogged about it, and Facebooked about it, and tweeted about it, and maybe even sent an email to some of these guys and said, hey, congratulations, you're on the top 10 list of trade shows. So what happened is a bunch of them linked to that list, or clicked on our Facebook post and commented on it, and they were very happy to be on that list. And now if you search marketing trade shows, that page is #1 in the world for marketing trade shows. So it's a little trick that you create a list of maybe the top 50 bloggers in your industry. You let those bloggers know, and maybe they'll link to that list and say, hey, I was on this list. I mean, we all have egos, right? Everybody's going to link to that if they find out about it. Say, I'm on the list of top 50 bloggers in whatever industry, and that's baiting people to link to your website. So the A is architecture, B is backlink, C is content. You've all heard the phrase content is king. You can't be found for a word phrase. Like if you're a Boca Raton dry cleaner, you have to have Boca Raton dry cleaner on the website. It's as simple as that. So we want to create lots and lots of pages of content. We find keyword phrases using tools like Word Tracker, Keyword Discovery, or just the Google Keywords tool. And we find out how many times people search those phrases. And you could do this in a very basic manner, but we do it obviously in a sophisticated manner. And then you want to add lots of pages to your website, because Google only reads the first 1,000 words on a page. So we're going to build keyword lists. We're going to find out what phrases we want to add to our website, We're going to use like Google and Word Tracker to figure out how frequently those words are searched. And then we're going to create lots and lots of pages with a minimum of 250 words, max of 1,000 words. So that we're giving Google content, word content. Again, we want to be found for, you know, Boca Raton dry cleaner, Boca Raton attorney, Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce, Boca Raton business networking events. You've got to have all those word phrases, every possible configuration and combination that other people would search. Don't, you know, get out of your head where you say, well, if I was looking for the Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce, I would search Boca Raton Chamber of Commerce. Well, people aren't necessarily looking for the chamber. They're looking for Boca Raton networking events. They're looking for Boca Raton business training, etc. So that was the basic sort of presentation, the ABCs of SEO. A is architecture, B is backlinks, C is content. But Google went and changed the game. And in the last 18 months, they've done the most significant changes to their mathematical algorithm that figures out who goes on page 1 and who goes on page 1,000 that they've done in about 5 years. And those two changes were called Panda and Penguin. And so the GPS is sort of the evolution of the Google algorithm and the new thinking. So the old thinking was you just had to have lots of pages on your website. And a company called Demand Media was hiring people out of the Philippines and India to write page after page after page for their websites like eHow and all these websites that they had. They have hundreds of websites. And when you wrote pages of crappy content, Google didn't really determine was it good content or bad content. They just saw it as content. And these sites were coming up in the search engines. They were getting tons of traffic, and Demand Media did an IPO for over $1 billion. But you know, a lot of these websites included misspellings and bad content, and you know, just they were written, you know, $5 articles. And we used to, in the industry, we used to think that was a good practice. But now Google is differentiating from the quality of the content. We'll show you how they're doing that in a minute. So now your objective is to write really remarkable content. Remarkable, meaning that people actually will remark on it. They'll talk about it, link to it, Facebook comment on it, and retweet it. And so Panda is it was named after Nanveet Panda, who is the coder at Google who actually wrote the algorithms to change the algorithm significantly. But what they did for the first time is they sent real people out to evaluate websites, because Google was always only a mathematical algorithm. And we know this because we in the search industry, we found copies of this 200-page document of how they were supposed to rate the websites. And the raters were looking for quality of websites. And they rated them based on, would you trust this website with your credit card? Is it attractive? And they also looked at the algorithmic stuff that they get from their analytics. How much time do people spend on the site? Are they making conversions? Are they signing up on your forums? Are they buying your e-commerce products? Are they signing up for your webinars, for your free information? And so Google analyzed all of this, and they wrote this massive mathematical algorithm to try and mathematize the quality that they learned from the quality raters. And so now they look at websites, and they're going to show quality websites in the search results. So some of the things we know about this analysis, that design now matters. I mean, whenever anyone comes to us and they want a new website, they say, I want it to look like Apple, or Mac, right? But then we all put all kinds of stuff on our website. We make it too busy. Your page has to load quickly. Page speed has become very important. Design and user experience. You can't have obviously optimized copy. So let's go back to that attorney. So if he said, we are DUI attorneys based in Boca Raton, Florida. We do DUIs and DWIs because we're attorneys and we're based in Boca Raton and we're Florida DUI attorneys. Call us because we're the best DUI attorneys. I mean, that used to kind of work in search engines because you crammed in the keyword phrase lots of times. But Google's gotten a lot smarter with these quality ratings. So page speed, good visitor metrics. People spend time on the site. They read lots of pages. They sign up for your newsletter, your information, and where your traffic comes from matters as well. So the G is great content. The P is Panda. A quick point on Penguin. So Panda was all about the quality of your website. The next evolution of this algorithm was called Penguin. Penguin is looking at the links, the link quality of your website, and it made a significant change, and it added something called social signals to the equation. So I mentioned earlier that I could create a knitting blog and link to my website. In the old days, that used to be considered a link. And a link was a link, and Google just counted the number of links. But then they started looking at the quality and relevance of links. So then the search engine industry started creating this thing called link buying. You could buy a link to your website for like $5, and some guy would leave that link on his website, and he'd get $5. And these networks came up, and you could go to these networks and buy all these links. And it was great for a little while, except Google, banned. They said, this is really bad. Not only are we going to not credit you for a bot link, but we're going to actually penalize you. So now with Penguin, they're really trying to cut those out and wipe out websites that have a lot of bot traffic. They're looking for authentic links to websites. So they introduced a new factor in the algorithm called social signals. Because if I'm logged in to Facebook, if I'm logged into a Google property, Google has a long track record of my relationship with them. I've had Gmail for a long time. I've got Google Checkout. They've got my credit card. I've got Pandora pictures. Like, Google knows who I am, and they also know that I've authored content. So there's a new thing about the quality of the linker in the social media environment. So when I see that Jay Berkowitz is following this guy, I'm a fan of Brendon Burchard, it's like an endorsement, and Google can measure that endorsement through a history of time. Because if I've got a lot of Facebook friends and if I've got a history with Google, they know the quality of that. So Google Plus is Google's new social network, and it's becoming a very important factor in this whole social signals, which are the new links or endorsements to a website. So authoring a lot of content, having people Google Plus your content, Facebook like your content, Twitter tweet your content, becomes the new version of links. So it's the new evolved backlink. And very important now that you get a presence in social media, and I would also create that Google Plus presence as well. One little trick that's working extremely well in this area, we call these Facebook memes or Facebook candy. This is my friend Brian Short's site called Nurse. He's got a site called All Nurses, and this site's called Nurses Rock. They've got 326,000 people who like Nurses Rock. They've got 400,000 people sharing their content. 400,000 people are liking these little Facebook memes. Keep calm and, okay, not that calm. It's a nurse joke, right? But they put these things up, like funny little icons like this, 3 or 4 a day. And it's crazy, the numbers. 25,000 people liked this image. 25,000 people clicked the like button. 7,585 people shared that button. So what you're trying to create is people liking, sharing, and commenting. Again, we're giving the tools to our audience to like us, share us, to link to us in a virtual manner. So we're also influencing not only massive viral spreading of our content in Facebook and social media here, but also very aggressively throughout as a Google endorsement. J.B. Glossinger does these little images. He's got a great motivational podcast called Morning Coach. Our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children, Walt Disney. If it scares you, it might be a good thing to try. And these get, again, crazy numbers of endorsement. He's got 54,000 fans, Facebook fans, and 48,000 people liking it. So quick review, the ABCs and GPS. A is the architecture. We want nice, clean website code, meta tags, a sitemap so Google can easily find all the pages and all the words on our website. The B is the backlinks, other sites linking to your site. We want important sites and relevant sites, industry sites. The little link bait trick of a curated list is a good one. C is content, keyword research, finding the keyword phrases people search and getting 250 to 1,000 words on each page on your site, and lots and lots and lots of pages on your site. You want to have great content, so high quality, well written, grammatically correct, spelling's correct, etc. Now, lots of people endorsing that content, Facebook liking it, Google Plusing it. Little tip, you want to put that Facebook like button, the Google Plus button, the Twitter tweet button on your website, on your articles, so people, and your content. Like if you have any tools on your website, you add that to your website so people can easily vote for it by plussing it, liking it, tweeting it, right? You're giving people the tools to endorse you in the eyes of Google and the search engines. Panda. So Panda is now changing the game again. Page speed matters, visitor metrics matter, the quality of your website, nice clean design, and social signals, likes, tweets, and the Google Pluses are becoming important in the game.
Jay talked a lot about Google and Panda and Penguin, and what I would like to do is, after watching what he did, is talk a little bit more about the business part of it. And I'm going to go over, our case study of Green because, I'm going to talk about the online reputation and why ORM. As you heard, how important it is, but most people, most consumers, learn everything today or most of everything online. They actually make an opinion about you online. And that's why your online presence has to be clean, clear, and simple. And I'm going to stress it through the whole presentation, how clean and simple and stupid it has to be. Because we all work for Google. I mean, Google is the largest employer in the world. Every time you click on the link in Google, you actually add value to Google. So that's why, Google wants you to do a good job. Now, how are you going to do a good job? I mean, you heard a lot what Jay said, I'm going to stress again. But think about Google, what Google is doing. Google is in the business of advertising. And they want you to come back to their search engine again and again and again. And why are you going to come to the search engine? Because they're going to supply you, they're going to provide you with the best search results in the world. And so that's what they did for the last 10 years. They improved the search results. And lately, they're doing it in a better job. So, they care about your site, not because of you, but because of them. Because if you search in Google and you find a search, you find a result which is not to your liking, you're not going to trust Google. So Google wants you to trust them. And that's why they employ us, all of us, that create sites to work for them. And you're going to hear terms like black hat, gray hat, white hat. I call it the Google hat. If you follow Google, you're going to be fine with Yahoo and Bing, but really it's all about Google. So let's talk about our case study. And I'm concentrating on online reputation management because in our case, we're in the timeshare business, which we sell our product to people, and some of them don't like it, some of them like it, some don't like it very much. But they form most of the opinions today online. And as a company, we didn't really care about it so much because we did very well for many years, and we still do very well. But in the last 3-4 years, the importance of online became it became more important because of mobile. This is going to change our world completely. If you think what we did in desktop, this is going to change. So I'm going to start first of all with the Google page results. And as Jay mentioned, the first results is what we call paid results. All the middle is our positive results, what we call positive results. And as you see, we have a negative result over there, which is basically a review site. Google likes review sites. They think they're doing a good job for the consumer. In this case, it's Piss Consumer, which is not doing good service for the consumer, but they're doing a lot of money for Google. Now, the reason I showed also AdWords or paid results, because I want you to remember is that Google is in the business of that. That's the business of Google in. And really, I mean, that's the biggest kept secret of Google. If you play that game, they're going to give you a lot of credit on the organic search. I mean, some people will not agree with me, but I'm telling you from experience, you spend money in Google, they'll pay you back. I call it Google tax. So how are we doing it? Basically, first of all, you have to find how people search your brand, or how people search who you are. And there are very good tools over there, and I think you mentioned, Jay, a couple tools, which you know what people are searching. The best tool, in my view, is basically if you have a Google account, you have access to all Google tools. Google has a great keyword tool, and you can learn, first of all, what are people searching, and what is your presence online. Because you might think that they're searching something like for example, in our case, we might think that maybe, and I'm going to use something that I'm excusing, like let's say Google socks. It's not true. It's barely 0.0% of our searches. So this is actually my most important slide because I want to show you what we did. 2008, November 2008. That's how we looked on Google. That's how we looked on Google, and I'm going to explain how it works. And that's how we're looking today. And what it is basically each bar represents a page results in Google according to this particular keyword. So if you're going from left to right, if the most searchable words or keywords that we have is blue-green, in 2008, we had, the top one, for example, is our results, but what we consider negative is either somebody that is reviewing us in a negative way or a reseller. Somebody's basically competing with us. There is a secondary market to timeshare, and they're buying this online, and we consider them a negative because they're basically competing with one-on-one. So if you look on the picture, what happened is most of the bars and these bars represents 100% of our searches. Actually, about the middle way, it's 75% of our searches, which means we know, according to our research, that, for example, Bluegreen Resorts is the second largest search that people are doing. It's about 25% of all searches all day long are done on this keyword. So, why we did it? Because we wanted to learn what to do about it. And hence, in 2013, I call this, by the way, Project Samba. I like what Google called Panda, so this is Samba, I like Samba, because, the idea is to get to a green flag. So, and this is hard work. This is war every day, basically to get, to this result. So, how are we doing it? How we did it? The way I describe it is, I'm going to use a metaphor. If you have a lot of weeds, you have to grow a lot of good grass, and we did grow a lot of good grass. Grass is it's all about content. Actually, our main content site is what we call powerfulplaces.com, which is all about our resorts, our destination experiences. We actually created 14,000 pages, and I said 45 is probably a lot. So no, it's not. It's all original content. It's content that talks about. We have 60 resorts all over the world. So we talk about the experience in these resorts, the destination. We talked about everything to do around the resorts. So, for example, if we have a resort in Orlando, we can talk about everything in Orlando because people that are coming to that resort are going to go eat. They're going to go to the parks. They're going to do a lot of things in Orlando. This is relevant content, and we talk about it because it's for our owners. It's for people. We have about 220,000 people that own this product, and they will go to that site and check it. So there's a lot of traffic to that site, and that site is open to the whole world. So if somebody, searches, for example, what to do in Orlando, or it's 10 top restaurants in Orlando, they'll find us. And Google likes that stuff because we're doing good service. Because if somebody lands on that page, it's relevant content. The other thing we did, which is I think very important for everybody, is YouTube. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world. And going forward with mobile, in my view, it's going to be the important channel. Because people, first of all, don't have patience. The MTV generation is becoming older. Everybody wants a soundbite. So start producing videos. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be professional. But people have to hear about video, to see videos and to hear about it in videos. It's much easier. It's an easy experience. Facebook is an important piece, and you heard about social signals. But Facebook is a conversation we can talk for hours because it's not the same one for everybody. It's a different animal altogether. But what we did is we basically went to our owner base and we created a fan page. So I call this page their page. It's not our page because we want them to interact. We want them to link between each other. We want them to talk about us and go about us, and not us to be there, the big corporate organizer, and basically tend to what I call customer service side. Twitter is another piece of social signals, and it's all about positive sentiment. In the end of the day, if you're talking about what signals you want online, it's all about positive. I think you heard most of it from Jay regarding Google, how it relates to your site. But I'll stress the same things. Design matters. Don't take it lightly. Google really wants, and like I said before, Google wants you to have a site which people like, which people enjoy. It's all about user experience. Somebody lands on your site, if this was pleasant, it's informative, easy to use, and the content is right. From a technical aspect, you want to make it easy for the search engine, especially for Google, to find it and index it. You know, it's either a sitemap or just a simple robot text file to tell the search engine what you want to do to invite them. You want to make sure, and I'm not going to repeat what Jay said, that you know your title tags and everything is in order, because you know that's what Google is going to rank you for. Quality. The pages, and I'm stressing again, are made for users. They're not made for Google, they're made for users, because that's how Google wants you to do it. If the user lands on the page and he likes the page and he gets value out of it, and he spends time on it and he comes back to it or shares it with a friend, he's doing you a good job, but he actually teaches Google that this is a good page, and that's what you want. And obviously, you know, you don't want to do any tricks. You know, Google knows everything about us, you know, and there's no reason to play any tricks. Just make it simple and stupid. One of the most important things, I mean, I think if you leave this building today, and if you have a Google account, you should get yourself regular on Google Webmaster Tools. They have a great blog, and it'll teach you a lot of simple things, basically what to avoid, what not to do. And we talked about page load speed. That's a very important thing to Google. And again, why does it care about it? Because if you land on a site that is slow, you know, you say to yourself, Google gave me a result which is bad. So if your site is loading over 4 seconds, Google will penalize it. Absolutely penalize it, and it'll drop you down the search. And you know, I think in the very near future it's going to be 3.5 seconds. So if you have things like Flash, like Jay mentioned, or other heavy, you know, HTML stuff on it, it'll slow down your page. So make sure your page is engineered very simple and very good. Your title, descriptions, H-tag. H-tag is the same. I'm going to repeat what Jay said. You know, if you basically tell Google how to index your site, and it has to be simple and clear. The HTML code content ratio. For example, if you have a page with a lot of you know, fancy stuff and you don't have content, if it's really, you know, like less than 50%, I mean 50% content versus 50% HTML, they'll penalize it. When I'm saying penalize it, they'll drop you in the search, because you're not as important. And obviously develop a link strategies that is relevant to your content. You know, this is, as in, like I mentioned before, our business. If we have a site, if we have a page that talks about, you know, on Orlando results, and we link to that, you know, restaurants in Europe, I mean, that's spam. Google doesn't like it, and it's because it's not relevant to that page. Social media. Like I mentioned before, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's very important. I mean, we produced hundreds of videos and it works. People, you know, search on YouTube all day long, like they search images or they search the regular search. And actually, Google will start mixing it. They tested it already. They start mixing the YouTube results in the main search. So you want to make sure that if you have a mobile strategy, you have to take care of it. Facebook is the second highest number of visits daily. I mean, and again, I'm going to talk about Facebook again. You know, Facebook, there's no one answer for Facebook. You have to know what you want from your business and how you want to create a Facebook page. And it's really,
I'm wondering, is there an optimal length for videos?
An optimal length?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know, it's you know, people, you know, don't have patience to watch more than 25, 30-second videos. So if you create, and it depends. If your story starts after 45 seconds, nobody's going to watch it. But if it's a good story, after 10 seconds, they'll watch it. It all depends what you want to deliver. Today, Google has a small ad running, you know, in the front, so you know it's hard to judge. But you know, from my experience, 25, 30 seconds. We ran up to 2 minutes. After that, they drop. People don't have patience.
Guys, sorry, we'll take questions at the end. Okay.
Sorry.
The most important thing is monitor and measure your results. You have to monitor it constantly, because you know the people that land on your site are going to vote if it's good or not, and you can get these results. Again, if you use Google, Google is a great tool to measure your results, which is called Google Analytics. I mean, it's a basic tool, but it teaches a lot of good stuff. What to avoid? participating in link schemes. You don't want to, buy links. You don't want to mess around with that. That's a bad thing. And Google, especially because what you just said before, they'll penalize. I'm using the word again, penalize you. They're going to hurt you. No hidden text, no hidden links. I mean, people sometimes think, well, nobody's going to know if I'm putting a period and connecting it to a link. You're going to get killed. Don't participate in affiliate programs without adding any sufficient value. I mean, there's a lot of organization over there that's going to try to sell you different things because they say, well, we're going to get you a lot of traffic, a lot of links. If it's not relevant to your site, don't touch it. Linking to irrelevant site, like again, avoid that. Letting links that sit and linger over there that don't mean anything will hurt you. And letting other websites to link to you. I mean, remember, your site is precious. So don't let anybody convince you to link to that site without your permission and without checking what you're going to do with it. There's a lot of people out there that are preying on that, so avoid it. Okay, thank you.
I'm going to talk about kind of an interesting strategy, and bear with me, this is kind of a little out there. So we're going to be kind of thinking a little bit differently. And what I'm going to be talking about is how you can take a look at your sales funnel and you can optimize for keywords that might not be obvious to you. So, so if you don't know about the sales funnel, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction. If you do know about the sales funnel, just bear with me. The whole idea is that you want to generate business, you want to generate leads. There's going to be more interest and awareness of you at the top of the funnel. So you're trying to create awareness. So people are starting to learn about you. Maybe you have an advertisement, maybe you have a billboard, something, maybe you have, a postcard stuck on a Starbucks, whatever it is, right? And people are starting to become aware about you. That's your top of the funnel. Then you're becoming more relevant to certain people. They're starting to get more and more interest in you. There's going to be less of those people, so it's going to be narrower. And then eventually, you're going to have some customers drop out the bottom of the funnel. So that's the whole idea of the sales funnel. So you need to pay attention to every different phase of the funnel as you develop your lead sources. So what you find is that the more people you get in the top, the more customers come out at the bottom. So then the question becomes, how do you get more people in the top of the funnel? Now, we're going to use a kind of a mundane example, all right? We're going to pretend we are bulldog leaders. And there's a lot of people in here that are doing a lot of different businesses. And I think this strategy is going to work for most people if you can get there, or if you can come up with some of these ideas. I'm not going to guarantee that's going to work for everybody, but what you want to think about is what you're doing, okay? So let's say that I am a bulldog breeder in South Florida, and I want to get found on Google. So naturally, I look at my keywords, bulldog breeder, South Florida. Well, is this the laser pointer? Okay, if you look here, actually, we have a little animation going on. This is from Google AdWords. This is a free tool that you can sign up for. You can type some keywords in there, and it's going to come up with different permutations and different alternatives to those keywords, and it's going to tell you how highly competitive those keywords are, if you wanted to bid on them and get found for them, and it's also going to tell you how many monthly searches there are. So let's look at this one, for example, Bulldog Puppies, South Florida. There's a lot of competition. It ranks at high, medium, and low. And then there are also 390 monthly searches. So this is not a good situation because that's not a lot of searches and you're going to be fighting for those searches. So this is a situation that's going to result in not that much traffic to your website. So let's think about what we might be able to do to drive more people into the top of the funnel. How can we get more traffic to our site? Because I'm telling you, if you get more traffic to your site, you're going to get more leads. Like, we do this, and what's remarkable is that when you start driving more traffic to your site and you start charting the traffic to your site, and you chart it against the number of leads that convert, it lines up like when you look at like South America, how it fits into Africa, and you can tell that they were like once connected. Like, there's a very tight correlation. So getting more traffic to your site is kind of critical. So let's think about this example. And this, we're just talking about bulldog breeders, and I can talk about other examples as well. So you're selling bulldogs, that's a given. But you're kind of really selling happiness, right? You can't look at that dog and not laugh. So bulldogs are very good companions, as you guys might know. And especially when in a PowerPoint presentation, because you can't smell them. I don't know if you've around bulldog lately. Oops, I stepped up in the basket. So dogs are kind of about like fulfilling some sort of like deep need that we have for companionship, for happiness, for things of that nature. Okay? So can we agree? Not everybody's a dog lover, but let's just say that people who have a dog probably really, really like them. Okay? Any dog fans here? Sure. Okay. Anybody have a bulldog? Yeah? What's his name or her name? What? Bentley. Bentley. You like him?
I have 21 dogs.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Right. Somebody call animal control. Okay. All right. All right. Would you like to get a 22nd dog? Just out of curiosity, too? Do they have a dog that they're looking to? Because I think we have a taker here. Okay. Onward and upward. All right, so let's think about this again. Let's think about top of the funnel. Now, we know that there's some sort of like deep need that we have. And maybe we're feeling a little lonely. Maybe there are people out there that feel lonely and that having a dog around could help them. Maybe, that's one hypothesis, so we're going to test that out. So what you want to do is you want to maybe reach out to people who have some sort of need or who have some sort of thing going on in their life or are at some sort of juncture where they would consider your product. It doesn't have to be loneliness. Obviously, like if you're somebody in here is selling desserts, right? That this might not be for you, this strat, but there might be something else. There might be something else, some sort of other life events that you could tap into or other things going on. So let's say that the top of the funnel, where most people might be searching, where there might be the most amount of traffic might be about like not feeling so good, maybe feeling sad. Then maybe there's probably more people searching, there's less people maybe searching for like adopting a dog within that group of people. And then eventually, people might be convinced that a bulldog is the answer. So it sounds ridiculous, but it's not ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous, but it works. So let's take a look, and this is a little depressing. So, word of warning. Okay? We start thinking about this, like look at the competition. The competition was very high for bulldog puppies in South Florida. And there were 390 of them. And I don't want to say that this is a bad strategy because that's a bottom of the funnel strike. We're going straight to the bottom. These people want a bulldog, they're ready to go, it's going to be their 22nd bulldog, they're psyched. Down here, okay, I typed in, this like really made me sad when I put together this piece. As sappy as it was to look at a picture of Grace the Bulldog, like doing this like research, like horrible. So I typed up like, feeling lonely just to see what would happen. And the competition is very low and the monthly searches are very high. We got like 60,000 in there, right? That's pretty good. So there's a lot of people searching and there's not that much competition for that traffic. This is what it's actually playing. Okay, so how do we put this plan into action? Well, what we want to do is we want to craft a strategy in this situation where we want to capture the lonely people traffic. And then we want to start injecting this idea that a bulldog is the answer. So we register feelsolonely.com because that URL is a big part of search. And then we call it the Feel So Lonely Advice Blog. And maybe we talk about all sorts of different techniques. But maybe every fourth post kind of starts introducing the idea of dogs. And then maybe every seventh post starts talking about bulldogs. And then what we do is we take our blog posts, which are really, they have the shelf life of a mayfly when they're first passed around, but then they sit around to get indexed, and they become these like Lego blocks that you can use to compose different things. So we take those Lego blocks, your blog posts, and we make an ebook. 10 Cures for Lonely People. Let me buy some really cheap advertising on Facebook. You know, you can buy some like PPC ads, and they won't be that expensive because the competition is low. And people download that book by the thousands. We get so much traffic from ebooks. And for us, the ebook is just taking our blog posts that we weren't doing anything with, bundling it together, and serving it this way, and before you know it, 2,000, 4,000 leads. So it's a very effective strategy. Then, what you have to do is you have to you have them in the top of the phone now, so you have their attention. And it's kind of up to you, and we'll talk about this in a second, of how to get them down further to the bottom. So, you know, honestly, I don't think there's any bulldog breeders in the room. There may be a dog breeder of some kind. But the question is that when or, like, why would someone consider your service? So I have a friend that is a labor lawyer. And the truth of that is that most people don't know they need a labor lawyer. But what people, and so all of his search terms were around like labor law, employment law, things like that, things of that nature. So we're working with them now, and we said to them, well, why don't you do something like this? Why don't you have a blog that talks about how much you hate your boss, or how much your job sucks, or how much you want a career change, or some sort of thing where you're like not happy with a given situation and you want to make a change. And the whole blog becomes about satisfaction at work and having a better life at work. Because that stuff, when we did the analytics, there's maybe like a couple hundred people doing searches for labor lawyers in South Florida, but there's hundreds of thousands of people that want career change, and the competition's much lower. So, you know, and it can work in a variety of different contexts as well. So that's kind of the idea. Now, for us, what we do, we have this like legal building product, right? You log into a website, you track your cases, you track your time, you generate invoices. That's what it does. So fighting for this traffic for, you know, online legal building software is tough because a lot of people are doing it and the searches aren't that high. So we developed a blog called the Legal Productivity Blog that's been around for a while, and it's one of these content blogs. And you know what we do is we have this thing about like clients paying bills, things like of that nature, like all sorts of things about like how running your practice can make your life better, or like tips and tricks that you can do just to make life easier. We have like mobile apps that we review, things of that nature that more people are searching for. And then what we do is we bundle this stuff up and we just do ebook after ebook after ebook. We're about to be on our 5th one. So that's kind of the idea. That's it in action for us. So now you have more leads coming into the top. You have a different search strategy to gather those leads. But then it's kind of up to you. You need to get those leads from the top to the bottom. And that's a whole other topic. But some of the tools that you would want to embrace is lead nurturing. You know, there's automation software out there that will email the leads that you collect 2, 5, 10, 20, 40 days out. And then during that lead thing, at first you start talking about what it was that they initially downloaded. So you first start talking about, okay, you know, here's how you can feel better, and this is like other things if you're lonely and stuff like that. But then, like towards the middle, you know, like dogs really help loneliness. And then towards the end of the lead nurturing campaign, it's like, you know, bulldogs are the best dog for loneliness because they just lie on the floor and stick their tongues out, and you laugh at them. So that's how lead nurturing campaigns work out. Those newsletters that you get from people, you may dismiss them. Those are huge. Those are really, really critical because when you start sending them out to the thousands and thousands of leads that you start collecting with your ebooks, you get a lot of clicks and a lot of people coming back to your site. So those cannot be discounted. And then the engagement with social media, you know, Facebook, Twitter, all those kind of things, reaching out to those leads that you've collected. So once you've collected those leads, you work with them. But that's kind of up to you. If you have any questions, email me. I'm Larry at rocketmatter.com. And that's it for me.